Everybody knows he's a gifted player, but there's some things that he's done and that he needs to look at himself in the mirror and be honest with himself about it. You know, some of the things that he's done, and I think he'll do that. We'll help him with that, but he has to help himself, and we believe he'll do that. He's a smart guy, but you know, sometimes he don't do smart things.
Aren't we all? That was Giants GM Jerry Reese addressing the recent actions of Odell Beckham Jr., who, of course, dropped some of those big passes.
It was cold.
He's had some moments this season. I think that's fair. Now, I ask you, Marcellus.
Yes, ma'am.
Are we getting to the point where perhaps he's not worth the headache?
Oh, not even close to that moment. We're talking about a talent, a supreme talent that you just can't identify and find everywhere. So give me that talent all day and I will deal with it. And if you look at some of the greats, I'm not talking about the very goods, the greats of our game. Let's think about one Deion Sanders, who when Deion was on the field,
must be the money.
He was the man. And when he was off the field,
ridiculous.
I mean, look, Deion brought it all. And there's nothing wrong with what we saw out of Deion, we see T.O., who comes on our set every single Monday.
Oh, yeah.
Had his issue. LT, Lawrence Taylor. I'm bringing up all the greats who didn't necessarily
receivers, but then you threw that.
Conveniently fit into what a team desires. And the most champion NFL player of them all, Charles Haley. 5 Super Bowl rings. Bonafide, just different.
Yeah.
And it's all good because if you can bring it, sing it. And I'm not mad at
you
Odell.
gotta bring it.
He brings it now.
I
did go with the little rhyme.
Go bring it, sing it. Only in America. No, here's the thing.
Get you a denim jacket.
Is he worth that?
That ain't right.
What? I like... Okay.
Is he worth the headache? Yes. That doesn't mean it's not a headache, right?
Oh, good point.
You still got to deal with the headache.
Fine.
But at the end of the day, these things are really minor. Like some of the people you named, LT was in the house.
He hit a net with a helmet versus what LT
we're really
did.
making a big deal out of it. I'm more upset that you're going to talk all that trash going into that game, walking out with no shirt on, and they're going to drop those passes. I'm more upset about that.
That's really it. That's all it is.
But that's not, he's not a headache.
Let's just pray that Jerry Reese talked to Odell before that press conference, because it could look like you hung me out to dry without talking to me. Because, like you said, I mean, those things are really minor indiscretions in the scope of things compared to some of the other greats. And you're already talking about, like, I need to grow up?
I think it's maturity stuff.
You
just got to grow up.
And he's legitimately one of the top 2 or 3 receivers in the league. Come on.
Moving on, Ronda Rousey broke her silence yesterday.
Finally.
Kind of. After that devastating loss to Amanda Nunes at UFC 207. She did it by quoting Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling on Instagram. And so, rock bottom became the solid foundation on which I rebuilt my life.
That's your J.K. Rowling?
I don't know. You guys know how I feel about inspirational quotes and posters and whatnot. But where do you go from a J.K. Rowling quote?
You know what? The best explanation of where Ronda Rousey is right now, because for me, I hate to say it, but I'm off her as a fighter because I've seen consecutively she's not a fighter. She's not fighting the opposition. Like, it's one thing to get knocked out. But don't you hit the panic button? Don't you hit the break emergency in case of break glass in case of emergency situation? Hello,
that one.
Yeah. Can you show me something other than I got rocked and now I'm going down? Here's the thing. Chael Sonnen said it best, and he's amazing. He said, I've never seen a fighter who is so defined by their wins and losses, so wrapped up in the sport and not compartmentalize and realize you do this and then you have a world outside of that. And that's a dangerous place where she is right now. She rides the way.
But that's not her doing, is it?
Well, yeah, she's riding the wave.
No, but I'm saying it's not her doing in the sense that everything that came along with being Ronda Rousey was, of course, tied to the fact that she was like this awesome chick in the octagon. She looked great, and so everything happened. I think what's scary if you're Ronda Rousey is what's going to happen now if you don't fight. Because let's be honest, she's not a great actress. The endorsements are because you're Ronda Rousey. So what happens?
Here's the thing, 2 things. One, I'm a little upset that she didn't use a Wileyism.
She jacked that up. It was messed up from hello.
Next time.
Messed up from hello.
But the other thing is also, someone brought this up the other day. In MMA, it's not like boxing where 1 loss or 2 losses, whatever. There are a lot of dudes with like 5, 6 losses, and they're still looked at as great fighters. She's just got to get back on that wagon and build that record. But it's true, if she keeps losing, if she's truly washed, then she loses everything.
Not losing, not fighting, and that's what we've seen the last 2 fights.
Next up, last week, kicker Graham Gano accused the Buccaneers of Bush League tactics. Now, the Bucs video board, which is located by the field goal uprights, broadcasted a live game feed. So it made it appear to Gano that he was kicking at 2 sets of uprights.
Nice.
Something that wasn't done when the Bucs were kicking field goals.
Look at that.
That's so you can feel like you're there. Look, the NFL has investigated. They said no rules were broken. It's sort of like an Inception type thing. Cool or cheap move?
So yesterday, these guys were talking about basketball players are soft.
Y'all are.
And
True.
like, crying about broken
Oh,
nails.
you
and
touched
stuff.
me. Free throws.
Oh, but you guys, they're distracting me. They're doing things behind
That's
the
a kicker.
field goal.
That's a kicker.
Yeah, well, I don't care. He still play football, don't he?
Technically
Right.
football.
Look, this is what we got to deal with in basketball. Shout out to Arizona State. These guys
Oh.
are out here.
Oh my God.
This is what's happening behind free throws at Arizona State
that's-
basketball
yep.
games. Shout out to the current distraction. They gave birth to a baby. And that man still has to shoot free throws. You crying about a video board?
Hey,
They gave birth to
that's how you create DeAndre Jordans. You can't hit a free throw after you see that. That's hilarious. Let me just say this. The NFL knows it's wrong, and they will address it in the offseason with the competition committee. They had this situation
Oh, come
before.
on.
Look, this is a
That's
video.
distracting.
Yes, this is a video distraction, and before there were audio distractions. Minnesota admitted they used to
True.
pipe in noise into the Metrodome.
so noisy.
And look, wait,
Be quiet.
Atlanta was fined for the same thing, and
I'm
now
trying
they're
to
going to
play
get
football.
Tampa Bay for that video dub. You can't
Y'all
dub
need
over
to
something.
stop
That's
whining.
I can't make
last night,
unethical.
Can't make my
three
field
of
goal.
us were in the cool room as part of the championship game megacast. We were awesome, obviously, but not even close to Bill Walton.
No.
Take a listen.
Nah.
I guarantee you our show will be more real.
Oh,
The game started!
Who's
Yay!
winning? I like to get hot. Marcellus, is this your son? How many of you guys named Abo, do you know? Did Marcellus go home?
If we're, oh.
Is that his name? Stop by my room later. I've got something for you.
You really didn't go home. Look at you, Amin.
Hurry up and wait.
Same jeans and everything.
So, as you know by now, the Clemson Tigers took down the mighty Alabama Crimson Tide in very dramatic fashion in a game that took over 4 hours to play out. 4 hours for a football game. That's a very long time. Eventually, Deshaun Watson led Clemson to victory well after midnight on the East Coast, and for that, we are sorry. Conference commissioners and head coaches have said this season that games are too long, and here we go. The evidence. Marcellus.
Yes, ma'am.
I think the three of us up here suffer from a little bit of attention deficit disorder. Was it worth it in the end?
Absolutely not. Because, no, for real. Like, I know conventional wisdom tells you because of the ending, forget those hours that we suffered through to get to that place.
Nope.
But those are two different conversations and two different sentences. This is how I took it. That game was too damn long, and
Amen.
that was a great ending. Not that game was long, but the ending was so great I forgot about those other 3.5 hours. I did
Like
not forget.
childbirth.
Yeah, exactly. And we're seeing it just go longer and longer. This is the longest season in terms of duration of college football games, and I have no understanding of why they need to
Wait,
stop
you
it.
don't, do you know why this happened?
Ad sponsors.
2 words. No, well, we're part of the problem. But also, Mike Duffy,
Oh, that guy.
also known as Guns McGuns.
Yeah.
Ed
This
Mockley,
guy.
Ed Mockley,
Yeah.
Ed Hockley Jr.
Who was on Good Morning America this morning?
Was he?
Yeah,
No, he
he
was
was
not.
certainly on a big talk show.
Flexing.
I think it was GMA.
Out
was
of
flexing.
here.
Yeah,
Look at him.
It's real.
Look
He
at him. Look at him
shirtless?
triceps.
They call him the internet.
Oh
sensation.
yeah. yes.
Perfect.
Hey,
Perfect.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. He's in that weight room for real. Not on the
I'm
treadmill.
not making
but
fun
yeah.
of
No,
him.
He on the treadmill.
You, for whatever reason, we had to be here last night. You showed
I
up.
came for the food and then I got roped into working.
You really did.
Hey, this is what I'm gonna say.
Nothing's free.
That middle part of the game was long, dull, and boring.
Yes.
But that end was incredible. And, you know, especially when you have the switching of the momentum, the switching of Marcellus's pick
That's a
from
great point.
Alabama to
Lot of
Clemson,
drama.
You know, and if you didn't have fun watching that game, then you should have been watching the MegaCast because we had fun, even though we weren't really watching the game. Also, I like my job, so I'm not going to say it was a bad show yet. The TV show was spectacular.
No,
That's not how this works.
Yes, it is.
It's just like Major League Baseball. You come to a realization that what is this for if we're going to take that long to do the same thing we could do in maybe half the time?
The best thing that came out of last night, Jay Billis came up with this idea. He said, we need to treat refs
it was good.
like streakers at a sporting event.
It was
we
a good
never
thing.
show them on TV.
Also, Bill Walton was a great part of last night.
Yes, he was.
For me personally. That's all I have.
He's a treasure.
He is an American.
A national treasure.
I want to discuss another thing that happened. This actually happened in the game. We almost missed it. It appeared as if Clemson ran a pick play on their final possession, leading to Hunter Renfro's game-winning touchdown catch. Now, Clemson fans elated, Alabama fans crying foul. Marcellus, our football expert, did they get away with an illegal play here?
Absolutely. They got away with one. You can see the reaction of the Alabama defender in the moment. Look, when you run a pick play, referees are on notice. They are aware that this is a rub play, a pick play. There's a certain way you have to do it, a certain etiquette to it. You have to play it off. But if you intentionally pick me, flags, and I see it week in, week out, they throw the flag. He comes in darted with his helmet and hits the guy in the chest. That's the most blatant pick I've seen, and I've seen less get called. And in this moment, this critical situation, they decided to swallow their whistle, and it made no sense. That was certainly
I know,
foul.
this is the time to decide.
Look at that. Come on, man.
To me, I think he just tripped.
Oh, really? That's how you
He lost his footing, and he tried to stay up on his feet, and he used his hands and knees, and it didn't quite work out. There happened to be an Alabama defender in the area. His man got picked off and ended up.
And coincidentally, his tripping and falling gets him right to the target area where you're not supposed to go on a pick play.
Well, I mean,
What did Keyshawn tell you last night?
What?
What did Keyshawn tell you last night?
That was the best part.
Yeah.
Keyshawn said, "Stick to basketball."
Stick to
You're not allowed to talk about football, man.
And you know what? They shouldn't have even been in this situation. Let's go back to some of the genius plays we've seen before in this moment. A Chip Kelly who decides in that moment with 6 seconds to go, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to tackle everybody. You see those receivers out there getting assaulted? Why? Because then time runs off the clock. Let's say it's 1 second left. You force Clemson to now kick a field goal instead of trying to go for that touchdown. Different outcome potentially.
But I'd like to say thank you for not kicking a field goal.
That we were rooting so hard against overtime.
6 hour game, dude.
Literally would have stayed.
Yeah.
A very peculiar thing happened last night while we were actually all here. It was sort of breaking as this happened. Derrick Rose went missing from the Knicks last night without permission, but later reached team officials and told them he had returned to Chicago to deal with a family issue. But for a while, no one knew where he was. According to Frank Isola, this reflects poorly on Phil Jackson. It was classic Jackson. The invisible team president whose inflated bank account is matched only by his inflated opinion of himself.
Yes.
All you need to know about Jackson as a team president and leader is that he left it to the head coach to answer questions about a situation that is above Hornacek's pay grade. This is the type of culture Jackson has created at the Garden. There is zero accountability. Since all of this, Rose has rejoined the team. He's been fined for the absence, won't be suspended. But let's go back to the fact that this is an indictment on Phil. You agree?
Well, first of all, obviously, we got to start with this indictment of Derrick Rose.
Absolutely.
You couldn't pick up a phone. I'm not saying you have to explain yourself, what you're going through. Just say, guys, I'm not going to be there. Got a situation. And that's it. You don't have to respond, and that's the beauty of text messaging. It's not a phone call where you got to go back and forth with someone. It's a text, and I'll put it in my pocket, don't look at it again, right?
Absolutely.
But there is something to be said that there wasn't a single team employee that this guy felt comfortable or close enough to mention this. I was on the radio today with Keyshawn Johnson. Keyshawn said, well, you know, sometimes when you don't get along with your coach, you don't want to talk to him. I said, that's fine. There wasn't an assistant coach. There wasn't a trainer. There wasn't a director of personnel. There wasn't one person. Well, he might have told the player, but said, keep this between me and you. And players are going to keep that internal.
Even if they're like, we just don't even know where he is. And they can't just be like, look, he's fine. He'll tell you in a bit.
But I find it hard to believe that there's nobody in the organization. He felt comfortable enough to just say, I'm not going to be there.
Yeah, I've never seen that in my athletic experience. A guy says, I don't want to go to the game or I can't go to the game and I won't tell anyone. Something inside of me tells me he told someone, maybe a lower level figure, maybe in confidence. And that person said, I'm not going to disclose that. Maybe. That's what I'm giving Derrick Rose. But let's talk about Frank Isola. Let's be frank with Frank right now. Because when I'm reading through this, I'm trying to really find out what happened to Derrick Rose. I've never seen this before. But instead, he uses this as clickbait and throws Phil Jackson
Brilliant.
in this situation. I have never seen in my life a team president take roll call for a game. Have you ever seen a team president sitting there? Is Derrick Rose in the building? That's not his job. So if he's really doing his job, Frank, guess what? He doesn't know where Derrick Rose is until everyone else sees him on the court. So Frank Isola for doing that.
Well, what about it's the
not
word
right.
culture, though? What about, because I think that's what Frank's the big message was, is the overall culture that's been built
Look,
here.
Frank's not saying that Phil had to know where dude. If dude leaves and never says anything, how are any of us to know? But what Frank is saying is, this is a situation. It's not a run-of-the-mill situation. This is the part where, this is why you get the big bucks, to stand up in front of the cameras and say, we don't know where he is, but as soon as, or whatever, we'll have a further comment later. But you don't hide behind your PR people. You definitely don't hide behind your head coach.
But don't go with culture, because listen to this, Mama. The best cultures we see in sports, in football, New England Patriots,
Right.
They've had some indiscretions.
You think?
You think, right?
You had a serial killer on your payroll.
Preach. Now let's go to basketball, the Spurs. They've had some indiscretions as well. Steven Jackson
I'm
and
sorry,
all this.
what?
Yeah.
Oh,
Your
no.
team. Like, my point is,
Jackie,
no matter what
Jack.
culture you're talking about, there's going to be problems. Why you going to blame Phil for this?
No, because they're not successful, that's why.
And I do
Because
think
they're not
I think there's a resentment within that New York world right now that
That's
he's
real.
gotten all this money, and really what has he done? Or at least to them.
What have you
Vacation.
done for me
Heck of a
recently?
vacation.